looking good. I want to see this beautiful day.
We've had the most perfect run of summer. You might not know we're doing video. Did you not know? You look amazing today, by the way. Well done, Mia. I want to say, you've been singing, bizarrely, you've been singing for 30 years, even though you're only 37 now.
Yeah, I know.
You've been singing
amazing.
for 30 years. But you stumbled upon something magical last February. You decided, because you'd met a lot of people at parties and at your own gigs who just love the idea of singing, and they love the idea they'd love to get up and do what you do. You decided to have a workshop in the Horse and Hound. Huge success, to the point now where it's almost like I look and you've got so many wonderful workshops happening. You've got number 7 here in Greystones is happening on Thursday night. You've got number 9 is at the Purty Kitchen next Wednesday, I think, with beautiful Jennifer Harr and others. When did you kind of realise, this is much more than just a bunch of mates? This is actually something that people, get a huge kick out of, and it's growing. I would imagine quite rapidly in those early days.
It's really growing. I suppose I was in about 3 weeks into the first workshop when I started getting emails back from the students in the class. Drizzling in over from the third week on, just saying, wow, this is life changing. This is actually changing how I'm feeling about life. So it's not just about the workshop. It actually raises competence levels in other areas, which is one reason I'd love to go corporate with it, because it bleeds into other areas of your life.
Hugely therapeutic.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. But the other thing is, I realised that I was getting as much out of it as the people were getting. And to be honest with you, I went into it very nervously because I'd never had any teaching experience with adults and music. I had with art and things like that, but not with music. And really, I had to be honest with my students and say, I'm not coming from a technical background. I'm coming from a feeling place, so I can give you how it feels and what I feel you should do.
Right.
But I think people appreciate that honesty and that very basic way of teaching. It's a sort of a visual way.
Yeah.
I kind of say, I use my hands a lot. You know what I mean? And I sort of say, no, you need to lift and you need to. Whereas I don't have the technical words, but Charlie, my son, who is the guitarist with me, he has the technical terms and all of that sort of thing. So I can rely on him for that. But recently, actually, am I talking too much?
No, that's great. No, you far ahead.
Recently, I was. One of my classes is in Goatstown, and I realised after the first class there that one of the teachers is from the School of Music, and she's a classical trained and pianist and singer and everything, and I was like, oh my god, have you found out? But she's got so much from it because it's brought her back to something that isn't all technical.
It's all about the feeling, ultimately, isn't it? Yeah.
For me, it is anyway.
That's the real kick, I think. When people tap into that, and you can be, in any form of art, you can be very, very professionally kind of trained, but ultimately, if the feeling that the listener should get, or the person watching your work, or in any way, doesn't feel what you felt in that moment, it's lightning in a bottle. You should feel something in that moment, and that's a gorgeous thing when you can get it right. It's
amazing to the one thing I try and get across to students is to tell a story with each song. Even if it's Three Blind Mice, that you're trying to convey something to somebody, that you're not just trotting out a song,
just emoting with no intent.
So that's a big one.
I think from Leonard Cohen to Maria Callas, there's all kind of voices, and everybody has a voice. I mean, if you can speak it, you have a voice, and you can have a talking song, you can have a song that hits Bohemian Rhapsody heights of ridiculousness. So I do think that it's just about finding the songs that fit and finding the songs that make you kind of happy. That really do express. Yeah. Is it something now that you feel? A lot of these people, I'm sure, are inspired in many, many different ways, but the hope would be, I guess, that some of them would sort of take it on and do some, singing of their own and sort of see them flower out there in their own little support slots. And
I've got a little advanced class going, so there's people who feel that they want to take it a little bit more seriously, and they come back, so I do a much smaller, tighter, where I get a little bit more. I'm very gentle with people in the beginning because a lot of people who come to me have been toppled, and that's why they don't sing, because they've been toppled as a child. Maybe somebody said no.
Sure.
This sort of. Yeah. So I'm very gentle with people, not to allow that to, to get over that part before they come back. And then, so the people who want to move on, I've got a couple of just amazing. I've got a couple of singers who I just feel. That's what we're doing one in the Purty, the Purty next week, which is all of these advanced ones, and they're just magnificent. Way beyond me and everything. Like, I sort of feel that's not saying I'm good, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They've got such talent, and it's just a shame that they haven't done it before now. But It's never late, never too late.
You say you use your hands a lot now, and somebody says they want to do Summertime by Gershwin or
I say,
Born on
get
Bronze.
out of here.
Can
No.
you slap them? Because you have your hands. You're able to use your hands. So would you slap them across the head and face?
I actually, do you know, I've got one woman doing Summertime. Now, I've discouraged every single person from doing it because it drives me
It's 4
absolutely
o'clock in the
nuts.
morning,
It's
few
not
too
even
many
that.
gins.
Do you know what? It's not a bad song. It's just that
It's
it's
a
done
great
to death.
song, but it's, yeah.
But the woman who's doing it, and she's going to do it in the Whale.
Oh, great.
She is. We trawled the internet looking for something that was a bit different to try and find another way to do it.
Sure.
We found a beautiful version. I think it's by Sam Cooke or something with a much different feel to it and everything.
Right.
So she's kind of inspired by that, and I have to say I'm really blown away by what she's doing with it. And I'm hearing it differently now because it's like hearing, as you said, Bohemian Rhapsody. It's sort of like done.
It's the Angelas or whatever, but it can be done that you take something
but I do know
familiar.
I'm very kind of let's find something a little bit
Sure.
and
Something a little bit off the menu
yourself.
where you could do something with it and becomes your song rather than this is another version
And make
of
it
that
yours.
old. And,
It's exactly it. Make it yours.
So where would you see now that this is something? Does it feel like a full-time thing? Does it feel like, well, this is just a moment that's enjoyable and I don't know, because it seems like such a great idea that there's no reason it shouldn't just keep on going.
Yeah, no, it absolutely will keep on going.
Yeah.
What I've realised though, I'm doing 5 classes a week at the moment, and it's actually very emotionally draining.
Right.
Because you're constantly giving, and you're kind of, because the way I teach, everybody sort of feels they're the only one.
Okay, of course,
which is a great thing in one way, but in another way it's very draining because it's like,
Sure.
I love it. I love doing it, what I want to do is try and maybe do 3 classes a week and then do a corporate thing maybe once a month that can keep me going financially, so that it isn't hugely draining, and that I can keep giving as well as I'm giving now, because I've realised, dare I say, that I'm really good at this.
I just think that
You
can't really go to school to learn 30 years of performance and feel all the various different kind of the emotions, but also just the technique and just the sensibility of getting up there. It would be just so deep down in your bones that it's not like something you could go, and you could go and become a teacher just by doing a course. This is a life experience that you're passing on, and that instinct, I think, would just feel, so good for somebody starting out, and the confidence that you know this is possible, and
It's funny, in hindsight, I look back on all the years that I've been singing. If I saw somebody in the crowd who was kind of going, oh my God, I'd love to be doing it, I would immediately say, well, come on in next week and have a song and be ready and get up. I was always sort of inviting people. I realised that I've been doing this anyway, encouraging people. And my band would often say, like, what the hell are you doing? And I'd go, but she really wants it. So it's something I love. If I see somebody who wants to, I'm saying, why don't you do it? You can do it. So it's kind of just something in me that I just love to get people to feel.
It's kind of handy that the top jazz guitarist Charlie Moon's pretty well. You know him fairly well, don't you? Yeah.
Fairly well, yeah.
Your paths have crossed quite a lot over the last few years. But I would think for him too, it must be a kind of a joy that he's, because nothing like it better for a jazz musician than the sense of the unknown a little bit, that you're improvising each time and you're adapting to somebody's performance, and you're pulling along in their direction. And
that's it. And one of the great things for him is that one of the angles of jazz guitar that he loves is accompaniment. There's not a huge amount of, there's millions of great guitarists, but when it comes to accompaniment, it's a very specialised thing.
Right.
So he would be sort of listening to people like Barney Kessel and different people who'd play like with Julie London and all those old ones, and he'd be sort of he does beautiful accompaniment, I have to say. But do you know what it's allowing both of us is learn a whole load of new songs that we'd never really looked at before.
Nice.
That people are finding their own things that we're going, oh my God, discovering
bringing new work
artists.
as a way,
and bringing new
out.
artists that we haven't heard. Because I really encourage everybody to listen to about 10 versions of everything, so they're not doing Ella. Drives me mad if somebody's just doing it. You know what I mean? That they're finding their own way of doing it. So.
I think that's crucial. I know everyone from Bono to Bowie would talk about the fact that, and Elvis would be the great example of early on just, imitating what you heard, but then just taking it and making it your own, because just taking something that already exists and is wonderful in its own way, but just either through great skill or almost ignorance, that you just say, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how it'll sound with my voice, and that's when new things are born and new kind of ideas. And it's not even that it's thought through; it's just instinct that takes over. And So we should say Thursday night. It's going to be in the Whale. You've got how many singers would be there now?
I'm sure we've 9 or 10.
Right. Okay.
You know,
cool.
Possibly 10.
Any of the ladies doing Ace of Spades? I'd love to see a jazz version of Ace of Spades. If you could just, you have 24 hours to work that out. But, you know, if you could do it, that'd be great.
I'll do my best.
Nice. Well done. And we'll link to the other gigs and let people know about the classes. It's kind of a beautiful idea.
Yeah, actually, maybe spread the word about the classes starting again in April.
April, perfect. And I'll put your email and your contacts and all that in this so I can get in touch. Beautiful.
Thanks a million.